South Florida, as we know it, could be washed away by rising seas. That's according to a new study out this week. But is there anything?
Florida is famous for its sunny beaches, fun theme parks, and tropical animals. But just off its coast, something much more mysterious is going on. Every year, millions of people visit for a relaxing vacation, but most don't know what's happening under the sea. Recently, strange things have started appearing from the deep ocean. The ocean floor is collapsing in some areas, and weird underwater sights are puzzling scientists. What could be the cause of all these? Is the ocean floor under Florida sinking right now? In this video, we'll explore some amazing discoveries made off Florida's coast. Blue hole sinkholes discovery. In the last months of 2024, a team of ocean scientists working aboard a NOAA research ship made a surprising and alarming discovery while exploring the ocean floor near the Florida Straits. They were using special equipment to map the shape of the seabed along the edge of the continental shelf when they noticed something completely unexpected: huge round holes in the bottom of the ocean. Some of these strange pits were wider than a football field, over 300 feet across, and deeper than a 30-story building. But what made this even more shocking was that these holes weren't old and forgotten. They were new and still forming. Scientists started calling them blue hole sinkholes. They seemed to open up suddenly in places where the ocean floor had looked stable and safe. Underwater drones sent down to take a closer look captured stunning images. They showed swirling clouds of sand and sediment spinning like underwater tornadoes, with fast-moving water and unusual chemical changes in the area. These signs suggest that strong and mysterious forces deep beneath the seabed are tearing it apart. Even more frightening is how close these sinkholes are to important parts of the ocean. One of them is just 25 miles from Key West, right in waters often used by cruise ships, fishing boats, and other vessels. They're also dangerously near delicate coral reefs, which are already under threat from climate change and pollution. Scientists are deeply concerned. No one is sure yet what causes these holes to open. One idea is that ancient underground freshwater sources, called aquifers, are collapsing as the pressure from the sea above them changes. Another theory blames methane gas trapped under the ocean floor, which might be escaping and weakening the ground above until it suddenly falls in. Whatever the reason, these underwater sinkholes are more than just strange. They're dangerous. They threaten sea life, boats, tourism, and even the coastline of Florida. To make matters worse, some of the holes appear to be connected by deep underground tunnels, which suggests there may be an even larger collapse system hidden under the seafloor. It could be part of a natural process that scientists didn't know existed, one that is actively changing the shape of the ocean floor as we speak. Now, researchers are in a race against time. They're working quickly to place high-tech sensors and pressure monitors deep in the sea, hoping to spot early warning signs before new sinkholes open. With more showing up each month, could the ocean be trying to warn us about something important, something we might not be ready for? Let's explore further and find out more amazing discoveries. Coral bleaching crisis. Just off the southern coast of Florida, something strange and unsettling is happening beneath the waves. Marine biologists have spotted a mysterious glow spreading through huge parts of the coral reef. At first, it looked like a magical underwater light show, bright colors glowing in the water, like a natural fireworks display. But it didn't take long for scientists to realize that this wasn't a good sign. In fact, it was a serious warning. This glow is caused by something called fluorescent bleaching. When coral gets stressed, especially from dangerously hot ocean temperatures, it releases glowing proteins in a desperate attempt to stay alive. These proteins give off bright colors, blues, purples, greens, but they are not signs of health. They are signs of distress. It's the coral's way of crying for help. In 2025, ocean temperatures near Florida reached record-breaking levels, and the coral started glowing more than ever before. Whole sections of the reef near the Florida Keys are now lit up in haunting colors, not because the reef is healthy, but because it's struggling to survive. Scientists have described this glowing phenomenon as the ocean's silent scream. It's a quiet, beautiful, but heartbreaking signal that something is very wrong. And what's even more worrying is how fast it's spreading. Satellite images show that this glow has already stretched across more than 100 miles of coral reef, As the coral suffers, the creatures that depend on it are disappearing too. Fish, crabs, and other sea animals are vanishing, and the number of dead coral patches has doubled in just 2 years. Some parts of the reef are now so damaged that they're being labeled ecological disaster zones. But the danger doesn't stop there. This is not just a problem for sea life. Florida's coral reefs are a major part of the state's economy. They bring in over $8 billion every year from tourism, scuba diving, and fishing. If the reefs disappear, it could hurt businesses, reduce seafood supplies, and even make the coast more vulnerable to storms and flooding because coral reefs help protect the shoreline. Scientists are working urgently to try and save the reefs. They're experimenting with special methods like helping coral reproduce and placing underwater shade structures to block some of the heat. But time is running out. The reef is in serious trouble, and unless something changes fast, the glow that once looked so beautiful might be the last light we ever see from these incredible underwater worlds. Is it possible that a lost civilization once existed off the coast of Florida? Let's take a closer look. Ancient ruins discovery. In a discovery that has amazed scientists and sparked the curiosity of history lovers everywhere, ancient stone structures have been found deep beneath the waters near Apalachee Bay, off the coast of Florida. This remarkable find came during a high-tech ocean floor scanning project, where researchers used special LAR scanning equipment to map the sea bottom in incredible detail. To their surprise, the scan revealed what looked like man-made patterns, stone formations laid out in clear, symmetrical shapes that seemed far too organized to be natural. These patterns included straight lines that looked like roads, rows of stones that could have been walls, and larger flat areas that might once have been used for ceremonies or gatherings. Some of the formations were arranged in circular layers, concentric rings, very much like the traditional mound structures built by ancient Native American cultures, or perhaps even something built long before them. To figure out how old these ruins might be, scientists collected coral and sediment from around the site and tested them using carbon dating. The results were astonishing. The evidence suggests these structures could be over 10,000 years old. That means they were built during a time when sea levels were much lower, and the coastline of Florida reached far out into what is now the Gulf of Mexico. Experts are still debating the origins of the site. Some believe it could be the remains of a settlement built by a now-lost Paleo-Indian culture, people who may have lived there during the end of the last ice age, possibly as part of a larger migration across the continent. Others think it might be the remains of an advanced community that was destroyed when sea levels suddenly rose due to ancient climate changes, submerging everything beneath the ocean. The discovery has even drawn comparisons to the mysterious Bimini Road near the Bahamas, a site that has long been surrounded by speculation and legend. Among amateur archaeologists and adventurers, this new find has stirred fresh excitement and even whispers about the lost city of Atlantis. But while the imagination runs wild, scientists are staying careful and methodical. Underwater drones are now exploring the site in high resolution, taking detailed images and mapping every inch. Special robotic arms have brought up pieces of carved limestone, broken pottery, and even fragments of bone, all now locked in coral and hardened by time. If further research confirms that these ruins were once part of a human settlement, it could rewrite what we know about early life in North America. This may be one of the oldest underwater settlements ever found on the continent, offering a fascinating glimpse into a chapter of human history that has been hidden beneath the sea for thousands of years. What more surprises could be waiting to be discovered? Let's find out. Mysterious ocean sound. It began as a soft, distant rumble, almost like a whisper from the deep. Then came the rhythmic thumping, deep and echoing, like something oddly familiar, yet impossible to place. For months now, oceanographers have been trying to figure out the source of this strange sound coming from a deep trench near the Florida escarpment, far beneath the ocean's surface. This eerie noise, nicknamed the drum beat, happens every 4 seconds, all day and night. Yet despite all the efforts to understand it, no one really knows what's causing it. Seismographs have ruled out earthquakes or any tectonic movement. Sonar scans have searched for submarines, underwater mining operations, or volcanic vents, but found nothing. Even marine biologists, who are experts in whale songs, have dismissed the idea. The sound is far too mechanical, too precise, and too regular. Some scientists now suspect it could be linked to massive movements of fluid deep beneath the sea, perhaps shifting layers of methane or brine trapped in a pressurized underground cavern. The most unsettling part, however, is that the sound seems to be slowly moving northward, heading toward the continental shelf. And with this strange journey, sonar equipment is also detecting growing vibrations in the seabed, as though the ocean floor itself is being stirred by an unseen force. Could this be an early sign of an earthquake? Or maybe something more unusual, like underwater cavitation zones or old gas chambers becoming unstable? Could it be a giant species that has evolved, living in the deepest blue holes of Florida? Let's find out. Methane plumes and climate. Bubbles of methane are rising from the ocean floor. Just off the coast of the Florida Panhandle, a team from NOAA made an astonishing discovery. They found methane bubbles slowly emerging from cracks deep in the seafloor. Using advanced sonar technology and underwater robots, the scientists mapped over 50 areas where methane is leaking from the ocean floor, stretching across the continental shelf. Some of these leaks are releasing gas columns that rise as high as 800 feet into the water. What's concerning is not just the large amount of methane being released, but where it's happening. These methane plumes are coming up near old fault lines, close to the same places where sinkholes and mysterious blue holes have been appearing. Could there be a connection between them? Scientists believe the methane is likely trapped beneath the seafloor in a frozen form known as methane hydrate. This ice-like substance can become unstable and melt when ocean temperatures rise or when the pressure from the seafloor shifts. As climate change warms the ocean and the pressure from tectonic movements increases, the trapped methane may be melting more quickly, causing cracks and gaps to form and triggering sudden collapses. Not only does this pose risks to the seafloor stability, but it also has global consequences for the climate. Methane is far more powerful than carbon dioxide in the short term, over 80 times more potent. If large amounts of methane are released into the atmosphere, it could speed up global warming and make the oceans more acidic at an alarming rate. To track these changes, underwater sensors are being placed to monitor how much methane is escaping and how stable the methane hydrate remains. However, with the region becoming more unstable, scientists are concerned that what we've seen so far could be just the beginning of a dramatic transformation of the seafloor. What do you think about the scary discovery made by marine researchers after they found sudden ocean sinkholes near Florida? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.